Well,
and like I can like give it out to people for free-ish,
I don't know. You
but
might be able to.
I can't really sell that.
I'll show you what they do on TV. Like, I'll show you some stickers I bought off there before that somebody else. I mean, it wasn't approved by Disney, and they still made them. So I'll show you them later. Welcome back to the Backseat Critics. My name is RJ.
My name's Andrew, and this is the podcast where we review movies that you should steer clear of. And this week we're talking about 2002's
Scooby-Doo! Oh no! I said peek that.
You peaked that. Future Andrew, we're so sorry.
Just don't listen to it with headphones on. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm turning down your gain, dude.
Leave me alone.
You lost that. You know what? You lost that privilege.
Why?
You lost the extra gain. You have to earn that back.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. But 2002's Scooby-Doo. Do you wanna talk about it? What's your history with this movie? Because this came out we were 10 years old.
Yeah, so it was about fifth grade. Right?
Yeah.
Fifth grade-ish. Maybe fourth. It might have been in theaters when we were in fourth grade, but about fifth grade, I think, is when it came out on VHS, maybe.
Yeah.
My history when I first saw this, actually, the day I saw this movie, first of all, we had to get a permission slip to watch this movie, and it was in school.
Really?
Yeah. They made a whole permission slip thing, and as a kid, we were also agreeing to skip recess to watch this movie. I don't know why, but we had to skip recess, and we did it in sections. I mean, every 30 minutes, because that's all you got for recess at the time.
Sorry, you had to watch this movie in segments?
Yeah. Yep, so it was about 4 recesses that it took to watch the whole movie. And because you had to wait for everybody to get into the room, you would grab your lunch, you'd go into the classroom where they're playing it. It wasn't even my classroom. And, so one day, actually, I forgot my lunch. And, but I had $4 in my pocket. $4? I had $5 because I was a hustler back in the day. And I'd sell kids. I'd buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards with the fake classroom money and sell them for real money. And so I had $5 in my pocket. Didn't have lunch. So I bought 5 king-size Reese's candy bars.
Oh.
And I had 5 king-size Reese's candy bars while watching the first... What's that?
Still?
Oh, no, I ate those. I ate those while watching the movie. And that's kind of how I started, was watching this movie through that process of through recess. And I think later on my family did end up renting the movie through Hollywood Video. Rest in peace.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know your family passed.
Oh no, Hollywood Video.
Oh.
But yeah, that's kind of. And then after that, obviously, it played on WB, and it was kind of one of those things, is weird channel flipping that we would be like, let's throw this on, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've seen this movie quite a lot.
I remember seeing this again, like 4th, 5th grade. I think I saw this in the theaters with my folks.
Oh, you went to the theater?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a enormous Scooby-Doo fan when I was a kid.
Yeah, who wasn't? It was good. It's a good show. I mean, if you hate Scooby-Doo, you might want to get checked out.
Man, other kids were collecting Batman comics. I had Scooby-Doo comics.
Well, that's pretty rad.
So that's where I was at with Scooby-Doo. My parents took me to see this, and at the time, I had enjoyed this. Except for the Scrappy-Doo at the end. Spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
And then I saw this, I think, the Christmas following. My family would get together with another family, and they threw on a movie.
Yeah.
And we watched this. And again, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. But I started to pick up on some of the,
some of the indie windows.
Indie windows. I'm like, wait a second here.
That's a dirty joke. And your family's like, no more Scooby-Doo for Andrew.
Yeah, so no more Scooby-Doo for Andrew. But no, I want to say I liked this movie as a kid.
Absolutely.
It was fun. My go-to was Zombie Island.
For this movie, Zombie Island was the... Oh, no, the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
They did a remake of that recently, kind of. Not a remake,
Sequel.
but a Return to Zombie Island.
The mic here. I still haven't seen that.
it's kind of silly because they actually go back to the island and they don't even know they're there. They're like, this place seems really familiar in that movie. So
Weird.
yeah, it's just like, wait a second, you
Do
guys.
they play it off like cleverly, or is it just gimmicky?
No, it's very gimmicky.
Ugh.
Yeah, the
That's
movie
just-
itself is fine, but meh.
Mm.
Yeah, you're
That's
like,
a
why?
bummer.
Why did you say that line? You didn't need to say that line.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we've got extensive history with this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, we actually have a shrine here
Oh, we do
to Scooby-Doo.
in the studio
Yeah.
at an undisclosed location.
There's candles surrounding a statue of Scooby.
We have this movie poster signed by Matthew Lillard in our studio.
We sacrifice a dog once a week.
Whoa. No animals were harmed in the making of this episode of the Backseat Critics.
They weren't harmed, they were killed.
And PETA is now going to be coming in. Okay. This is probably a non-safe zone for pets. That's okay. Anyways.
You got a couple dogs, right?
Sure. We'll call them dogs.
But anyways, the 1 minute summary, go.
Yeah, so basically the Scooby-Doo group gets introduced to the movie, and they decide to break up within the first 10 minutes of the movie. 2 years later down the road, they all get invites to Zombie Island, in which they find out... not Zombie Island. Spooky Island. In which they find out that college kids are being possessed and turning into creatures. Later on, it's revealed that Scrappy-Doo is behind this mess, and then Scrappy-Doo wants to take Scooby-Doo's soul. And then Daphne saves the day with a big disco light ball. All the souls are put back into their original bodies, and Scrappy-Doo dies.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't die. He shrivels into like a little sausage.
He shrivels back into his original form and is arrested.
Yeah, into a little sausage. What's that look for?
But no, so okay. But before we dive in on this episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, I bumped your mic there.
No, you're fine.
Before we dive in on this episode, we're gonna do our quiz question and we're gonna swing right back into the plot.
Okay.
What was the original rating for this movie?
I don't like what we're talking about. IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes.
No. Like parental guidance.
Oh, I'm gonna say PG-13.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with that PG-13.
Okay, we'll swing back.
Okay.
So we start off.
Yeah.
The movie. They're catching a little ghost person with bunny rabbit ears.
Yeah, they try to make it similar to like an old school Scooby-Doo character a little bit there.
It did, yeah. Do you notice? So this guy, if you later in the movie when Scooby's running from the actual monsters,
Yeah.
and he runs up, Shaggy catches him, and Scooby's like, monsters. And,
Yeah.
The guy in the bunny costume comes out of the forest.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, haha.
Similar vibe as far as the costume goes.
A little bit. I can see that.
Like it's just
not glowing.
it's just not glowing.
Not as clownish.
And there was like a t-shirt instead of like the full costume.
I think it's kind of funny too. The first line in this movie is actually Daphne saying, "You're giving me a wedgie."
Wait, that was the first line. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I was just like, what?
Foreshadowing the trivia question here.
Yeah, I was just like, that's the first line we're rocking with. And then, I mean, seconds later, you have Pamela Anderson walking out of her car.
Yeah.
Who's dating
Who
Fred.
crashes through and hits them.
And weren't there cops like right
on her tail? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, okay. First of
Weird.
all, let's not let Pamela Anderson drive. And secondly, isn't she married to Bill Rat? Am I wrong?
No, I was saying this. Like, they take off the mask and it's like, oh, Old Man Smithers or whatever.
Which, I mean, isn't that like it's a shout out to the older episodes because I'm pretty sure there's an Old Man Smithers villain.
Yeah, I was at the.
It's like one of the farmer dudes kind of looking thing. He has like a green overalls.
No. I think that was the Grand Canyon one. There's like the minor, like not
the 49er minor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But the guy's like, you wouldn't marry me, blah blah. it would have been hilarious to get Sasha Baron Cohen to play that guy.
If only Borat came out sooner. But
Wait, when did Borat come out?
2006.
Oof.
Only if it was a little sooner.
Oof. Okay. I didn't know about that time difference.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Because that would have been funny if he
4 years
if
later.
they pull off the mask and he's like, my wife.
My wife.
My wife.
4 years later, in 2006. Yeah, it's 2006.
Yeah. I'm not going to look it up. It's not, no one in our audience is going to look it up.
No.
No one cares.
Then they break up.
They break up pretty fast after being compared to a banana split.
Now, at this point, I feel like in the whole movie, I feel like this is the point where everything you feel about Scooby-Doo has now gone out the window, besides Pamela Anderson being there. But everything you know about Scooby-Doo is gone.
Why?
I just feel like now we're on a different story.
With a breakup?
Yeah, well, as soon as the breakup happens, now it feels like the directors, the writers, everybody here can now switch Scooby-Doo to whatever they want to because they broke up and now it's 2 years later and now they're trying to get back together.
So I don't know how well you remember it, but Zombie Island did the same thing with the breakup at the beginning.
Yeah, weren't they in like like Scooby-Doo? Weren't they in like a mailroom? Or is that, I might be speculating, number 2, Scooby-Doo 2, the live action. I know they're in a mailroom.
You might be
going down that route.
Yeah. I don't remember where Scooby and Shaggy were in Zombie Island. Fred was, I think, doing some public speaking type stuff. I think
wasn't Daphne also a news reporter too?
She was a news reporter. Thelma was like an actual like consultant for a police department or something like that.
Well, this one she's at NASA.
Right.
Making rockets, she said?
Like missiles.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure NASA does. I think that's usually Lockheed Martin and Boeing.
Maybe it's the missiles to get the rockets on the moon.
Also, fun fact. Do you know the fan company, Holmes? You know, like you buy them in Fred Meyers and Target and stuff?
Yeah.
They actually develop engines for missiles.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Hasbro has a missile too. Deep by rock.
Do not pirate Hasbro toys.
You will blow up. Kaboosh.
You will be hit by a rocket-guided missile.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen Small Soldiers. We see what happens.
You know, we're joking about that, but meanwhile, Nintendo's like, that's a pretty good idea.
We're gonna make missiles if you pirate us.
Nintendo's looking at like the next emulating company, being like, how much do missiles cost? Can we hit that group of people?
We're the casualties here. But I do feel like the writers now have freedom with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
At this point, because now they've cut off what we know of Scooby-Doo and making it into everybody
its own thing. Yeah. Really flirting with the Zombie Island type, the breakup at the beginning, the roles that they go into, then being brought back together to go to an island.
Yeah. And
one's just called, I don't think it's actually called Zombie Island.
Spooky Island.
No, there's Spooky Island, which is a Southern Pacific island.
Yeah.
Theme park.
Yep. Big theme park.
With spooky rides.
Would you go to this theme park?
Yes. If it was on like a mainland type thing.
You wouldn't do it at this island?
So this is my thing, and this is going to kind of lead us into my first question. The rides at this park looked lame. Outside of the castle, which was shut down.
Okay, I was like, that one looked pretty legit.
Yeah, no, the castle looks cool, but that was shut down.
Yeah, because of safety reasons, they said.
Right. And then, like, a lot of the other rides were just, like, normal
roller coasters,
just with the kind of mild, spooky vibe to it.
But I don't feel like this park was meant for being a theme park. I felt like this was more of, like, a vacation for...
Yeah, so it's, like...
spring break, college students.
It didn't look like... It was really, like, a resort-type park. like it didn't look enough like a resort. Like there was a main building,
Yeah.
and maybe some bungalows, but that was kind of it. And most of the rest of it was just like theme park stuff.
I felt like this was more for like college students, spring
Yeah.
break, or
And what
yeah.
college student is flying out to the South Pacific,
Do they
where the plane ticket's probably as much as the...
listen? Florida's a big one for them for some reason.
Okay, but Florida is different than an island
Mexico.
in the South Pacific. Mexico is different than an island in the South
I'm pretty
Pacific.
sure they're gonna be like, if you market like, hey, this is the place for spring break for you as a college student, and there's no adults, parents, regulations. There's just some dudes walking around in freaky costumes and weird tattoos. And we're gonna pitch as this, that we have the alcohol, we got the booze, and we also got dudes in freaky tattoos and scary costumes. Come on down, let's party. I'm pretty sure they're gonna go.
I don't see it happening. I don't. There's cheaper places for them to go for them to also party. This island opens up. They're still going to go to Florida. They're still going to go to other places.
Oh.
Sure, there's going to be a kind of richy uppy crowd that goes there, but not. It's not going to be the happening place.
I feel like we need to ask an expert.
All right,
We need
Rob,
to ask.
as someone who consistently visits college parties.
I was gonna say we need to ask our beach bum.
Oh,
We need to ask our local beach bum what he thinks. Beach bums never die.
that's a good point. Beach bum.
Be on the lookout on our IG if our beach bum would travel to this place.
Jordan, would you go to the island in Scooby-Doo the movie, Spooky Island? The movie's not called Spooky Island. The island's called Spooky Island, just for clarification reasons.
Absolutely.
But we're going to swing right into my first question.
Let's hit it.
All the rides were kind of...
Lame-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would be a spooky ride for you?
A spooky ride? Are we talking like spooky? Or actually like I'm not riding that. That scares the crap out of me.
However you want to swing it.
Oh man. So
But like describe it. Like roller coaster tycoon it to me.
So as we used to talk about Disneyland on this show a little bit on Backseat Critics.
Disney what?
Disneyland or the Disney, the mouse, the greatest mousetrap of all time.
Right.
They are.
We do also have a shrine to the mouse. We sacrifice a mouse every other week, actually.
So they are creating a ride where it's gonna jump tracks. A roller coaster where it's gonna jump tracks.
Seriously, why?
I don't know, but that scares the piss out of me.
That seems super sketchy unless they're doing like railroad style where there's two tracks and they just merge.
No. It's going to jump. Yeah. They're working on a ride like that.
What?
And if I see that, that's probably going to be one where I'm going to go, no. That's Roller Coaster Tycoon death.
Gotcha.
Right there. Like somebody's going to die on if I built that in Roller Coaster Tycoon, somebody's dying.
Which is okay.
Sure. Get the
It's
bag,
fine. People
park
die.
publicity. And,
I mean, somebody was beheaded on Thunder Mountain.
I think that was Space Mountain.
Thunder.
Was it Thunder?
It was Thunder. It was a year before you and I went 15 years ago? 10 years ago? Or, yeah, 10, 15 years ago.
I think it's happened on Space Mountain too.
And
somebody.
it was the winter before you and I went. Some tall guy kind of stood up a bit
It
on
went
Thunder
down.
Mountain.
Yeah, I could
And,
see that. When you do, there's a little drop, but if you sit in the back, and you can definitely.
Yeah, it was it was like the spine or the rib cage that you go through, or one of the dinos.
You don't go really. That's like at the end. There's no way you get beheaded there. I
think it was the rib cage.
There's a part actually where it drops, and it's right before you go in to like a mining tunnel, and there's like a.
Is it the overhang?
Yeah, right there. There's like a piece of wood right there. I could see that happening right there because there's a couple of times where I get a little
I could have
scared.
swore it was the rib cage.
I'd be shocked if it was the rib cage. I didn't feel like that's something you could really hit. I mean, if it happened, it happened. But I'd be shocked if it was the rib cage.
But so for me, A scary ride would be, let's give some spooky visuals. Let's do all the, blades and stuff, but mostly black, and the whole ride going backwards.
So you can't see what's coming.
Yeah.
It used to scare the piss out of me as a kid.
Hmm.
The Oaks Park Haunted Mansion ride that they had, or the haunted house ride that they had.
I never went on the Oaks Park one.
It was kind of scary. It had a lot of fake things that you'd see at like Michael's and whatever,
Yeah.
little like decorations like that. But my thing is that the friends that I went with told me the story about a vampire that lived in there.
What?
And I ate it up as a kid. And I was like, what? There's a vampire in there? And they're like, yeah, he came out and he started eating people. And then he realized he couldn't fight the sun. And he went back inside and he lives in there. I was like, oh, let's get out of there.
Really?
Yep. So, not my jam.
Okay, so maybe I'm like conflating that with something else. There's definitely an accident that happened around that time. The big one I'm seeing is from 2003, where it looks like the first car was kind of crushed. One guy died and 10 people injured.
There's been people that have jumped on the tracks and those sorts of things.
Oh, no, this was from like improper maintenance.
Oh.
Like it came undone. The train came derailed and then came down on the first car.
Not to go into a dark situation, but actually, do you think Disneyland would have a... Do you think that Disneyland would be a place that Scooby-Doo and the gang would go to?
In general?
Yeah. Like, they have that video of a ghost that came out a while ago.
That's Scooby-Doo.
Do you think
Disneyland? I don't remember. I don't think I ever saw that.
It goes from Tom Sawyer's Island
Mm-hmm.
to the Haunted Mansion.
Weird marketing piece.
Makes sense to go to the Haunted Mansion.
Weird marketing piece. Yeah, I could see them going there. They've gone to like theme parks and stuff in the past. This is no different.
Cyber Chase, I think they go into one.
I never saw Cyber Chase.
Solid one.
The one with the clown. I forget what that episode was called.
No, I gotcha. I know what you're talking about. It's like a orange, black, white.
Yeah. Also
Clown.
with the android, the robot that was going after him. That was also a theme park. But no. So actually, at Enchanted Forest.
Didn't they have a ride that somebody would chase you?
So, no, at least not when I went. When I was like,
I swear the Tin Man chased me on a ride.
10 or 12. We went into a haunted mansion one, and there's like nothing scary there. You're just walking through a long, winding hallway that kind of goes through the haunted mansion. There's displays behind glass that show you creepy scenes.
And then somebody comes out and tries to give you drugs.
Well, that's just Enchanted Forest in general.
Yeah.
So the guy like unlocks the door, opens it up, and he's like, "Yeah, just walk through at your leisure." And then he just books it through because he's got to get around to like open up the door for the people behind you. I panic because this guy is running. And I'm like, "Oh, nah, this ain't happening." So I took off top speed after this guy.
I'm pretty sure parents are like, man, this is where we leave Andrew. Let's go the other way. Is it too late to go through back the entrance?
I was waiting for a long time at the end there. So yeah, I was spooked by that guy running. That was the scariest bit of that. I don't think I think there's like one like little diorama scene I saw. I was just too busy running after this guy. This guy was not getting out of my sights. He went out. I realized the door that he went through just went back outside into the park, and he would just loop around and back into the entrance. And when I got back out in the park, I'm like, oh.
This is where I'm at.
This is where I'm at. I'm just going to sit and wait.
That's cool.
But then also while we were there, for whatever reason, there was a slide, and it was in the witch's like head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You like walk up her hair, and you slide down. It's like outer tongue.
Yeah. That's like one of their big attractions.
Big attractions. Yeah. Anyways, it would make weird sounds when you'd walk kind of around her. And under her nose, especially, because I think they put speakers up there. I refused to walk under her nose.
Man.
Like, I was so spooked by that. Like, I would go all the way around on the other side of the path, go up the stairs, slide down the slide, which would end kind of under her nose, but I'd hop off a little early.
I think I only went there twice as a kid.
I went there once.
We went there twice, I think.
It's very underwhelming.
Yes, it is.
It scared me, though. As an adult, it would probably still scare me.
Oh, absolutely.
But they are greeted by Rowan Atkinson, who's playing
Pleasant surprise.
the park owner.
Yeah.
Rocking a bit of a fro.
A little bit, yeah.
He's got a perm going on.
I think it's just his hair growing out.
His hair's flat. It's straight.
Maybe.
Blackadder, it's a little bit longer.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then even then, when they get to the island, they're like, hey, we're going to go do our own
We're
thing.
going to do our own thing.
We ain't a team.
So they go do their own thing for about 5 minutes, and they're back together as a team in that
At this
spooky
haunted
castle.
mansion. Yeah.
I really quickly want to circle back. Mary Jane.
Isla Fisher.
Yeah.
We didn't know until...
Weird, like, casting. Like, it fits.
It
fits.
was young Isla Fisher, though.
Yeah.
At this point, she wasn't really in much.
But it's like, it's one of those, like, you go back and you see it and you're like, oh, snap. Awesome.
You look at her and you're like, she looks really familiar.
She does.
And I was staring, I was like, I had enough of this. And I was like, I got to look it up. Isla Fisher.
So they go off, do their own thing. Daphne runs into a guy trying to perform a sacrifice on a dead
Voodoo dude.
Who
was in Pluto Nash.
Was not. Yeah, he was. Freddy and Daphne somehow Daphne, we know how it ends up there. But Velma and Fred, we don't find out how they end up at the castle.
I think actually Velma said that she saw it and she said that this looks like a place that this is where everything is being orchestrated, basically. Were her words or something along those lines is what she drops, that this is the place where everything's going down. Like if somebody's doing something bad here, this is where they're doing it.
That's where they're doing it. They go in. They do their thing. They're like spooking around. The ride turns on because a dwarf turns on the ride.
Mm-hmm.
They never address this dwarf for the rest of the movie.
I think he shows up a couple more times, but that's about it.
In the background.
Yeah.
Barely in the background.
You see him as one of the henchmen. I feel like there's a group. I mean, they show it eventually, shortly after everything goes down inside of the Haunted Mansion. This group of henchmen that Rowan Atkinson has at this time. Spoiler alert. But it's like, you got a wrestler. You got the dude with the tattoos. You got these dudes with like creepy skull mask looking things. You got the little...
The dwarf is part of it?
Yeah, he's part of it. He's part of that crew. And it's just like, they're all like, what are you doing? You let him get away.
I feel like Tay would be into that short person.
Probably.
Do you think he'd pay for it?
Well, I think that at this time in this movie is that we have a little time period where we don't know who's after them, why they're after them, what they're after them for, anything like that.
No.
We know nothing, and it's just kind of like, okay. And I think shortly after is when we establish monsters. Yeah,
they're real monsters. Again, circling back to Zombie Island, where kind of the big plot twist there was the monsters were real.
Weren't they like cat people? I think they're cat people.
Zombie Island?
Yeah.
They were zombies.
The old, like there's a gal on the island that turned into a cat person.
There was a kind of feline-ish lady, but yeah, there were actual zombies, and the zombies were real, but they weren't they weren't the bad ones.
No, there's like the 3 cat people or something like that.
They're like 3 witches or something like that.
They're cat peoples. Meow.
Sorry, what?
Meow.
To the folks, we also have a shrine to cats.
Oh no. They also got this the gang has this little like, I don't know, Ouija board, soul trapper puzzle thingy.
Oh, the little pyramid?
Yeah, they got this little pyramid scheme thing then.
Yeah, where did they
Daphne got it in the Haunted Mansion ride.
Thank you. Okay.
Yep,
I was like, where did they get that from?
she yanked it there, and
That was at the pedestal there at the in the little sacrificial looking room that they had. I'm not just saying that. That literally looked like a sacrificial
absolutely.
looking room.
I think they go back to that shortly because I think that they spoiler, they trapped Scooby-Doo there a little bit later.
I don't think that was the same place because the other place was like a cave.
The trap was very similar.
The trap was similar.
The pyramid, it was a pyramid trap, same looking thing it looked like.
Yeah. No, it was the same pyramid because they just moved it about
Okay, I see what you're
throughout
saying.
the island. But no, the final layer thing was like this underground cave system.
Oh, yeah. No, not the final layer. I was talking about like where they trap Scooby before he meets Rowan Atkinson and finds out Scrappy. Or no, not before he finds out Scrappy. It's because Rowan Atkinson brings him into his room sort of thing. And
Oh, yeah,
tries to suck or butter him up, saying he's going to be a
It's just
sacrifice.
like an office.
Oh, yeah. But before that, I think that's where they trapped Scooby was in there. I could be wrong, though.
Maybe. A lot of this movie just kind of bleeds.
Bleeds into each other. I mean, well,
A little bit.
I mean, it gets a little dry at this point, I feel like, because now we got like this weird thing with monsters running around. Fred loses his soul. They find like little soul dudes, like little head things.
Yeah, this is where kind of the movie loses the plot a bit.
And you lose the Scooby-Doo vibes, definitely. You were already losing the vibes of Scooby-Doo. Now we lost Scooby-Doo.
And we lost the plot.
And we're our own thing at this point.
We're not sure what we're doing.
We're just throwing in weird things. We're throwing a little pepper. We're throwing a little cayenne. We're throwing a little...
Velma and Fred
little Andrew
and
Dandruff.
Daphne were all soul-sucked.
Okay.
And they're all just like frat boy people now.
Yep.
Running around the island. There was a fake Smash Mouth, who I think actually captured Daphne a little bit later. Shaggy and Scooby, I don't remember what they were doing.
They're running around trying to stay away from the frat boys because they're trying to capture them.
Yeah, but there's also like some weird downtime in there, and I don't remember really what happened during that time.
It was they went actually on an expedition to try to figure out what was going on, and that's when they run into like this little soul thingy-mabobber eventually.
Yeah, they do go into the cave,
and then Scooby gets trapped, and Isla Fisher comes and wants to kill
She's
Shaggy.
got the man voice.
Yeah,
like, Shaggy, don't. That's right, because they jump into the little porthole. Yeah. No, so that's down in the cave system.
Okay.
Yep.
That's where that trap was.
Yeah. Because I think Shaggy and Scooby get separated at that point, and Shaggy walks into and he sees all the heads in the bowl, and he's like, hey, I want to start pulling them out and hitting them, and the heads, these disembodied glowing bluish white heads, just kind of float back to their bodies and repossess themselves, and the monsters
but
which were possessing the bodies, the actual physical bodies, jump out, and then they can't deal with the sunlight. So they just pop and fizzle and die.
Yeah. And then the head things.
This is how I sunburned, by the way.
Oh, you're a little monster dude. Gotcha.
Yeah. We all knew this.
I think the head things, I mean, for the crew, for the mystery gang, they kind of go to the different groups or different peoples.
Yeah.
Like Fred goes into Daphne.
Yeah,
Doesn't
Fred goes into
Velma
Daphne.
go to Daphne?
No. Velma's in herself for a little bit.
So Daphne goes to Fred.
Yeah, those were the only two mix-ups, and then the souls keep switching when they all meet in the forest. They've got the pyramid thing.
Yeah.
And then they blip, 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 blip. And then once all that gets sorted out in a way too long scene of the bodies or the souls flipping and the voices being kind of Shaggy's in Velma's body, Fred's and Shaggy's, like that kind of.
Yeah.
We finally, everyone's in their own bodies, and they just go to the cave system. They get some climbing gear. They get the mirror ball. They set up the trap. They're going to use the mirror to shine sunlight from the air vent in the top of the cave and use that to just kill all the monsters when they tip the bowl of disembodied heads out.
And this is where Scrappy
Blah, blah, blah.
sucks up all the souls.
And becomes one of the large dogs that
huge thing
that the 2004 Hulk beat the crap out of
yeah
in the forest. If
And-
you all remember that.
Then we go back to eventually they use the sunlight, save the day. Daphne fights the Lucha to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the movie. And Rowan Atkinson comes out of his little tunnel and goes, I've been in it for 2 years.
Weird side note here. Oddly good like choreography and cuts
For that fight?
for the fight.
There's a couple of parts where they slowed it down, like did a slow-mo action sort of thing, where I did not like personally.
I'm not a fan of slow-mo. Just in general.
For those, it wasn't like even like Matrix slow-mo or anything. It was just like B-roll slow-mo, like
Yeah.
B-rated.
But like the choreography itself, when it was like normal speed, I felt it was like pretty good for what it is. It's not good, but for a Scooby-Doo family movie, like it's like, okay, this is a better fight scene than Taken.
Taken.
Come at me.
And take. I like that. Okay. It's better than Taken.
Sarah Michelle Gellar
Fighting a Lucha is better than Taken.
is better than any fight scene in Taken.
Watch out. Liam Neeson's going to call you tonight and go, I have a special set of skills.
I'd be like, you know what?
Do me the favor.
Do me the favor. But also let me call Sarah Michelle Gellar because she's going to cap you.
Oh, guess what? I got Daphne on the other line. Sucker.
She wears high heels and fights.
And some of the things in these movies, like this movie, you watch it and you just kind of raise an eyebrow at it. Like, why is this in a Scooby-Doo movie? Like just the fact of like what people are wearing in the background. You're like, really? This is Scooby-Doo. Like, this is what we're rolling with?
So I actually want to read to you
Or some of the jokes. You're like,
this little excerpt about this is the trivia question answer.
okay.
I'm going to read this to you. The answer is it was going to be rated R.
It was going to be rated R.
It was going to be rated R.
Wow. They probably dropped some
So
F-bombs.
I knew this already, and I remember reading about this when James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was talking about his experience doing the Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah.
So this little excerpt here says, let me realign the mic here. This works. The film was originally set to have a much darker tone, essentially poking fun at older cartoons, which it kind of
did.
does.
It dropped a lot of Hanna-Barbera comments. It even dropped a Powerpuff. It drops a lot of cartoon comments in there.
So, and was set for a PG-13 rating. Wait for it. Shaggy was set to be a stoner.
Which they drop almost a couple of times in the movie. And we spoke about that.
Mary Jane is his favorite name.
In the movie, they look like they were smoking weed out of a van for a second when they're just making burgers.
Thelma, why do I keep saying Thelma? Velma and Daphne have a side relationship.
Okay. You
Seen
don't
this
see
before.
anything like that in there, but okay.
And there were many marijuana references.
They kind of drop a couple in there.
Yep. According to Sarah Michelle Gellar, after the cast signed on, there was a change and the film became more family friendly. However, by 2017, James Gunn confirmed that the original cut of the film got an R rating and had to use CGI to cover cleavage.
Wow.
Yeah. If I remember right, when he was talking about it, there was also just like a lot more heavy-handed innuendos. just like in your face.
I could see that. I could see that.
And the studio like wasn't having it.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know how you could do that to Scooby-Doo.
I don't know how I'd feel about that.
I honestly,
I don't know about the darker tone, the poking fun at, and the kind of self-awareness. Like, I'm here for it, but the rest of it, I don't know.
I feel like make it your own thing at that point. Like, make it your, not Scooby-Doo, but make it a different type of mystery movie.
Right.
You don't need to make Scooby-Doo into that.
Like do a Venture Brothers type thing where it's just a general parody of something.
Yeah.
Like, Venture Bros is just a parody of 60s, 70s, maybe 80s superheroes and Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Why not do the same with this?
Well, it's kind of like Power Rangers, where they want like a grittier, more.
Oh, geez. Yeah, with that newer.
Yeah, they want
it the 2014, 2015?
something like that. But they want to go like darker. They want to go darker than that. They want to go darker than that. Like they want to be. They want to make our childhood movies or things of the 90s
dark and gritty,
or even back. I mean, obviously Scooby-Doo's like 70s, 80s, 60s.
I think 60s,
60s.
70s.
So they want to make things of like kids more dark and gritty because they think that adults want to see that
dark and gritty,
grow up with it. But in all honesty, something like Scooby-Doo should not be touched in that sort of way. Same with Power Rangers. Should not be that way.
No, I completely agree. I remember there was like a fan cut of like a dark and gritty Power Rangers, and I remember watching that. And I didn't grow up on Power Rangers, but like I've seen it more recently, and it's got its own kind of appeal to it. And I saw the darker version, and it's like, I kind of don't want this. And I know like 2002 to like 2010, 11, 12, we were really heavy into like the dark, gritty kind of Christopher Nolan's doing Batman.
Yep.
We've got Daredevil, Spider-Man's emo and wearing black now, which like I know he was in the 90s, but like that was the vibe.
Yeah.
Like we're doing that then. Scooby-Doo doesn't need that. It's just the contrast between the monsters, the villains, what they're trying to do, prevent the sale of some land, do whatever, and then the fun cartooniness of the gang, especially Scooby and Shaggy, is kind of the lightness,
which they kind of hit in the beginning before Pamela Anderson gets there.
Thank you.
I feel like
the intro was kind of like primo.
Yeah. It kind of goes all downhill from there.
Yeah.
So I think it's
there's fun like vignettes, little like moments, but that's about it.
See, also they still push out Scooby-Doo movies. They still push out like the cartoons. They still push out the Power Rangers. They still push out new series of Power Rangers. Kids are going to want to watch this. Or darker like if they put out a darker rated R version, kids are going to want to watch this darker rated R version because they see Scooby-Doo's name attached to it.
Right.
That's not what they need to see.
No. But also, like, why does Scooby-Doo need to be rated R?
Exactly. He doesn't.
Like, I get that this was maybe, like, incidental that it was rated R, but, like, why?
PG-13 max.
Like, Scooby-Doo doesn't need sexploitation to work.
No, you could.
It's got the name.
Yeah, the name itself, you'll be able to sell anything off Scooby-Doo almost.
Yeah, you don't need to sell on sex appeal. You don't need to sell on tits. You don't need to sell on
marijuana jokes.
No
drug references. I mean, they do alcohol references in this movie.
Like I'm not against that in general, but it doesn't belong in a Scooby-Doo.
No, agreed.
That said, I also don't need to watch this, just in general.
This live action one?
Because I don't really think it's that good.
I think it's one where it's like every couple years. Am I going to watch it? Probably.
It's like every 5 years for me.
Because it's going to be one where I forget, oh yeah, this is a live action Scooby-Doo. Let's check it out again. Oh yeah, that's why I haven't watched this in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
It's you very quickly with this get those rose-colored glasses because it's got those little vignettes, the little moments where you're like, oh, that was kind of cute. That was kind of fun. It was Matthew Lillard. We all love Matthew Lillard.
Well, the Scooby-Doo and Shaggy doing the fart competition, you know. Fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, a bit excessive.
Scooby walking on the airplane in a grandma costume.
Fun.
And then starting to bark and growl at a cat. You know.
Yeah.
Fun.
Also, the way Scooby's eyes moved in this, where they're just like fluid waves.
Yeah.
I didn't need that. That's going to give me nightmares tonight. But I'm going to give this a 4.5.
I'll give it a 5.
For me, it's like I'm going to go back and rewatch it. There's still like fun moments in it. The set design in this is way too good. The CGI did not age well at all.
Oh, everything. And there's even parts where you're like, do you really need CG there? I mean,
No.
I guess it makes sense now that there's a couple of parts where they... But you can't even really see that they CG'd over...
And I brought this up during, it's like, it'd be kind of cool if they Roger Rabbited it, where it was a live-action crew, and they just had Scooby-Doo in 2D, hand-drawn, Hanna-Barbera
Regular
form,
Scooby-Doo.
and they just don't address it. That would be kind of funny.
And just rock with it instead of trying to make a live-action dog.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would have been what I would have done if I were in charge.
Yeah.
Because it would have been fun.
I think it's gonna kind of funny though that some dude's walking around probably in a like a dog.
Dog.
In his costume on the set.
I want to see the Revenant cut where Leo gets mauled by Scooby-Doo.
You know, somebody's walking around in a Scooby-Doo or just like a on
Scooby-Doo costume
on that set. Like,
yeah. Oh, 100%. The actors have to have somebody to like interact with.
Yeah.
Most actors, mostly like Lillard and Rowan, do a really good job at like interacting with CG Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that. That's good work there.
Lillard's primo actor.
Yeah, he is. Rowan Atkinson is good when he's given a good script.
Yep.
Or given enough freedom. But 4.5, I'm going to revisit this probably. Do I recommend this to kids? Probably not. Teens, adults, yeah, go for it.
Early teens.
Yeah.
Early teens.
Preteens,
Maybe.
feel it out.
Yeah.
Feel
Know
it
your
out.
kid. Know your kid. Know what you...
Yeah. Lesson for backseat critics. Know your kid.
Know your kid. Put that down in the book of critics.
All right. Until next time. Where can they find us?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at The Backseat Critics. You can find us on YouTube. Just type in The Backseat Critics. We'll pop up. Not Backseat Critique, Backseat Critics. And you can also find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just type in The Backseat Critics. Until next time.
Yeah.